Abnormal attraction. That's a good name for it. Let me talk about this movie for a moment. It's a fucking shit show. What you think you see, what you think you hear, that's what it's about. Mood and atmosphere. No, it's fucking garbage. It's garbage. Mood and atmosphere. Now that I really like. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I want to see. Hey folks, how you doing? Dave McRae here. Okay, in this video, I want to talk about a movie that I've known about for, well, since October of 2018. And that movie is Abnormal Attraction. Now, before I get into it, I have to preface this video by saying this. I do this every now and then when I get a bunch of new subs. For those of you that are new, that may not know this, and for those of you that might not be new, but you may not know this, I don't consider myself a movie reviewer. Okay, at least certainly not in the traditional sense. In case you haven't noticed, I don't have any reviews on my channel. I understand that for all intents and purposes, that is what my channel, the category for which my channel might fall into, I guess. But I like to consider myself more of a movie commentator, okay? I'm a professional voice actor. I'm an independent filmmaker. That's my day-to-day job, but I have this this channel because I want to have an outlet where I can talk about things I'm passionate about in the world of entertainment, and I don't want to set any unrealistic expectations. If I start reviewing movies on a regular basis, then there's going to be an expectation on the viewer that I'm going to start reviewing the latest and greatest that comes out, and I don't want to do that. I want to be in control of the content that I put out there, and if you love it, great. If you don't, that's okay too. But every now and then a movie I watch does affect me, whether it's emotionally in a positive way or emotionally in a negative way, or maybe I'm sort of neutral and I'm kind of in the middle, but for whatever reason, I want to jump online and talk about it. I have the freedom to do that. There isn't necessarily an expectation that I'm going to do that. So I like having that creative control over the content. So now that that's out of the way, let's talk about Abnormal Attraction and why I want to talk about this movie. Okay, so for many of you, you will remember that I attended the 40th anniversary Halloween convention in Pasadena, California this past October. And while I was there, the electricity in the air was, well, electric because the movie had not come out yet. Now, I had already seen the movie at the world premiere right here in Toronto back in September, but most of the people in the room hadn't. So the electricity was just electric. And the people that came up to me and introduced themselves and said they were big fans of the channel and they wanted their photo taken, which was really cool. And we shot the shit about Halloween for like 5 or 10 minutes. All of you were awesome. Everybody that came up to me was just awesome. Now, that doesn't mean that there wasn't somebody off in the distance who saw me from afar and thought, hey, there's that fucking McRae. Fuck you, McRae, you piece of shit. Yeah, see that fucking McRae over there? Look at that smug little piece of shit. Fuck you, McRae. Yeah, you. Maybe there was. I don't know. I couldn't hear you over the electricity in the air. But that being said, I was standing over by Dean Cundy's table because I believe I was getting ready to do a short interview with him. And a gentleman came up to me and introduced himself, and his name was Michael Leavy. And we shot the shit for about 5 or 10 minutes or so because he had things he had to go do, and obviously I had something I had to do. A really nice guy. And he said he was from New York, and him and his brother, I think it was his brother, head up a production company in New York called Fuzz on the Lens Productions. And I remember when he said that, I thought to myself, you know what? I know that name. I've either seen that logo or I've seen that name when I've been clicking on Halloween shit or like, you know, whatever the case is. It wasn't completely foreign to me. And during that conversation, he told me that his company had just finished producing and uploading online a spoof trailer to the first Halloween 2018 trailer that came out in June. And their trailer was called Halloween 60, I believe. I'm sure you guys remember it because it went viral. It's got something like 350,000 views now. And it was fucking hilarious. It was a shot-for-shot remake of that first trailer. And Michael's got a mask on, but the head is shaved here to make him look older. And it was fucking hilarious. And if you haven't seen it, just YouTube Halloween 60 or Halloween 60 years or something to that effect. It'll come up. I believe it's under the YouTube channel, Fuzz on the Lens Productions, I think. Anyway, just hilarious stuff. So we talked about Halloween for the most part. But he also mentioned a few other things that his company was working on, and one of those things was the movie Abnormal Attraction, a feature-length film starring Tyler Mane, starring Malcolm McDowell, starring Gilbert Gottfried, Ron Jeremy, the famous porn star, makes a cameo in the movie, and I was like, fuck it. And the way he described it, it sounded like your classic B-movie horror nonsense, off-the-wall, fucking just hilarious, but the kind of movie that you're either going to really love and appreciate or really think is just dog shit, right? I mean, there's very rarely in-between feelings on a movie quite like this because it's so satirical and it's so extreme that it definitely appeals to a certain horror movie fan-going audience at the end of the day. That doesn't mean there isn't some overlap at certain places, but at the end of the day, it's certainly got an acquired taste to it. So the reason why I know all that in regards to the movie is because I just watched it a couple of days ago. He got in touch with me through Facebook and he's like, dude, I don't know if you remember me, but it's Michael Leavy. We met at the convention. I'm like, yeah, of course I remember you. And he's like, well, my film Abnormal Attraction is out now. It's playing the festival circuit. Do you want to watch it? Because we had talked about it. I'd love to get your thoughts on it. And I was like, yeah, sure, pass it over to me. So he sent me a private screener, and I watched it yesterday afternoon. So I have only seen the movie once. So I'm going to read you the synopsis and the storyline because I've only seen the movie once, I don't want to leave anything out per se, because this sort of, it's compartmentalized here. And I thought that would be, good to kind of just read that. They're two small blurbs that give you the gist of what this movie is about. So this is what the synopsis is for this fucking out there movie called Abnormal Attraction. Okay, so here's the official synopsis. In a world where fairy tales are much more than tales, monsters and humans are forced to live alongside one another. Much like in our world, many people find it possible to peacefully coexist. However, there are plenty of others who do not. Nick Lane is one of the few people who stand in the middle and try to bring both sides closer together instead of pushing them further apart. However, when the tension that has been building between both sides reaches its breaking point, the middle isn't necessarily the best place to be. Nick's morals are tested and his own weaknesses are revealed as all these problems come closer to home. That's the official synopsis. Here's the official storyline. Abnormal Attraction story is extremely unique. It takes place in a setting where mythical creatures are the reality, allowing the audience to see their favorite fairy tale characters in a new light. These are the same characters everybody knows, but they are living just like humans, which allows for an entirely new comedic perspective, similar to Shrek, Monsters, Inc., or Who Framed Roger Rabbit, just done in a more adult manner. For the most part, this has not been done before. Having said this, through all the uniqueness of the story, there is still popular humor that any audience will enjoy, as well as meaningful, relatable themes that carry very relevant moral lessons. So that's the official storyline. So that's the official synopsis and the official storyline for Abnormal Attraction. Okay, well, this is my thought on the movie. While I was watching the movie, like I said earlier, there were many moments throughout the movie, because of the acquired taste that the movie is, that I thought to myself, people are really going to love this movie or they're really going to hate this movie. So when the movie was done, I went online and I read some reviews from IMDb, which granted isn't the most reliable source for information. But nonetheless, there were some reviews there, mostly positive, some negative. I went online and I read a couple of reviews from a few websites that were sort of in the middle, and then one was praising it and then one was like, yeah, I don't really like this. So my suspicions about what people thought about the movie, or what people may think about the movie while I was watching it, were really on point. It's really two ends of the spectrum. And the reason is because of the kind of movie it is. This is a low-budget B satirical horror comedy spoof with toilet humor and sexual humor and just off-the-wall banana characters. And it's one of the... So if you prepare yourself that that's the kind of movie it is, then you're probably going to go in and enjoy it. Now, when I say low budget, I don't mean shitty production value. I don't mean no budget. I mean, obviously there was a budget. The movie probably cost, I don't know, but I'm suspecting maybe $40,000, $50,000, maybe a bit more. I don't know. Maybe it's a $100,000 picture. It could be. Somewhere, in there, I would imagine. So the production value is solid. It looks like anything you would see on television, or, and some of the scenes are really well lit. Some of the lighting that they use and some of the cinematography is on point, and the makeup is great. I mean, certainly you can tell in certain instances that they're wearing masks and things like that. But at the end of the day, it's good enough that you buy it. You buy it, and it takes a little bit to get into because of the kind of movie it is. So once you start to realize, oh, it's this kind of movie, probably about maybe 20, 30 minutes in, if you can last that long, you'll find yourself actually getting into it, because it's satirical, it's cheesy, it's off the wall bananas with characters. But I actually found myself enjoying it because I knew that that's the kind of movie it was. That's the kind, I mean, I had the good fortune, of course, of the director informing me in person at the Halloween convention that this is the kind of movie it is, right? So, maybe that's a little bit of an unfair advantage going in, but so I was able to kind of settle in for that kind of a movie. And if you can settle in for that kind of a movie, I think you'll actually really enjoy it. It's not meant to be taken seriously. It's a cheesy, off the wall, like I'm pretty sure the guys over at Wham, We Watched a Movie, will really appreciate this movie. Okay, let's just put it that way. And if you really love those kinds of movies, I think you will. And I settled in and was ready for that. So it was a lot of fun. Even, it's funny, there's a character in this movie, and it's Frankenstein, right? Well, he wants to be known as Frank Stein, not Frankenstein, because obviously Frankenstein was the name of the guy that created Frankenstein, right? Dr. Frankenstein. So he's like, I'm Frank Stein, not Frankenstein. And the whole time I'm watching the scene, I'm like, that dude sounds like fucking Tom Hanks. I'm like, that guy sounds exactly like Tom Hanks. Well, you know what? It was Tom Hanks' brother. I was like, oh shit, no wonder he sounded like Tom Hanks. It was Tom Hanks' brother. Jim Hanks, I think it was. Jimmy Hanks, is that his name? It was fucking Tom Hanks' brother. So there's a lot of fun, not necessarily cameos, but there's a lot of fun actors and actresses that you're like, oh shit, that you may not know. So pay attention to the end credits as well, because there's a lot of people in this movie that obviously you may not know them to look at because they're disguised in all this makeup and hoods and get-ups and things like that. You'll definitely recognize Malcolm McDowell's voice, though, as the Boogeyman. So it was fun. I enjoyed it. And I think the guys over at Fuzz on the Lens Productions did a solid job. I will say this, though, if there's a critique I do have of it, I found the pacing, there were certain moments in the movie where the pacing was a little slow for me. I think you probably could have shaved maybe another 5 or 6 minutes off this movie to help speed up the second act, and I think that might have helped to the overall pacing. That would be my only sort of concern. Although that might have something to do with maybe the editing. Look, the editing is fantastic, but maybe there are certain moments where, how as a filmmaker, you go back and you're like, you know what, I should have cut that there, maybe put that there and sped that up just a little bit, and that would have got us over the hump. Just things like that, just minor things like that at certain points throughout the movie, especially in the second act, leading up to the third act, that I found that there was, maybe we could have moved it along a bit further, especially when they're all huddled in that, I guess, that cabin or wherever they are, and they're in the circle, and Tyler Maine's Cyclops guy is, in there, and he's trapped in there as well. I found that scene to drag just a little bit, and I think it probably could have been sped up. But of course, that's an important scene because that's sort of, there's a lot of good exposition there that you're trying to, we're leading up to the third act now. So I recognize that actually is an important scene. So you don't want to do away with it altogether, but there's just certain things that maybe we could have cut that there and put that a little there. Just minor things like that if I have an overall critique. But I can't be too hard on the movie really at the end of the day because of the kind of movie it's supposed to be. There was a very deliberate, conscious, creative choice writing this movie, going to camera with this kind of a movie, casting this movie, and executing this kind of a movie, that it's supposed to be like this. It's supposed to be off the wall, crazy, like, what the fuck did I just watch? And that's its strong point. So if you love those kind of movies, watch the trailer. I encourage you to go online right now and just Google YouTube abnormal attraction trailer. It'll come up. Watch the trailer, see for yourself if it's the kind of movie that you think that you'll like, because I found myself actually enjoying it. And there were some nice moments. There were some really nice moments. So Michael Leavy, the fine folks over at Fuzz on the Lens Productions, awesome job, guys. I think it's going to appeal to the people that get it, the people that understand it are going to love it. You know what I mean? And, you know, as you guys know, you can't please everybody, right? So, you know, you do what you got to do, you do your best, and you put it out there for the world to see, and you let the chips fall where they may. And obviously it's doing well so far because we're friends on Facebook, and I saw that it won Best Picture and Best Editing at the Idlewild Film Festival out in California. So congratulations, guys. I think that's awesome, and I assume that it will continue to play the festival circuit. It's also, for those of you that want to watch it, you can actually, YouTube has it for rent, I believe, for $4.99. And I believe it's on, is it Amazon Prime? It's definitely on VOD. So check it out, for sure. And if you want to watch the trailer, you can watch that for free on YouTube. So yeah, comment below and let me know your thoughts. If you have seen it, if it looks like a movie that you are going to watch, if you like those kind of movies, do you guys like those kind of movies? Do you like the just off the wall B horror movie, bananas, sexual humor, toilet humor, but then all of a sudden there's like this nice kind of moral to the story too. And there's a nice moral to the story that sort of wraps everything. And there's a bit of a twist too at the end. You're like, oh shit. Oh, and I don't want to give that away, obviously, because that might spoil the end of the movie. But yeah, comment below and let me know your thoughts, guys. I would like to know. And to the fine folks over at Fuzz on the Lens Productions, great job. Keep up the great work. I look forward to seeing what else comes down the pipe. So yeah, in the meantime and in between time, my name's Dave McRae. If you want to follow me on Facebook, you can at facebook.com/manythingsdavemcrae. That's where I tend to post in the meantime and in between time when I'm not posting here. The link is in the description, as well as links to my Patreon, my merch store, my IMDb, my Twitter, my official website, whatever it is. It's all fucking down there. You can check it out if you want. So yeah, yeah, in the meantime and in between time, I'll talk to you guys soon. Check out Abnormal Attraction. It's bonkers. Anyways, I'll talk to you guys soon. Cheers.